I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. Today we're very, very honored, extraordinarily so, to have Joseph McFadden come and stand in our pulpit today. Joseph, he calls himself Joey, or that's what I call him, has been coming to our church now for a couple of months. I'm not sure exactly when the first time he showed up and the first time we had a conversation, but he's been coming for several times. And I discovered some time ago that he's a writer and that he was writing for a particular magazine. He's now writing with the Young Voices organization, and he's also a volunteer with the Braver Angels Depolarization, which is a not-for-profit organization as well, and he has his own podcast called Response. And today he came to say a word to all of you and to me as well. And I just think it's a great honor. I was looking for the miracle of Eastern Parkway and the West Indian Day Parade on this past Monday, something unique that would happen that we could classify in the theophanic, if you will, position of God stepping in to make his presence known with respect to who we are. I don't know if I necessarily saw that the way I did with the Indian Day Parade of the Hindus and the Buddhists going back a couple of weeks ago. But I know that this young man that has come to speak with us today has come as a blessing. And let me tell you why. When I do become the mayor of New York City, as many people may enthusiastically want me to be, everywhere I go, that's what they say. And as many people enthusiastically voting for me to be the next mayor and believe that I will be the next mayor of New York City. I want to be the mayor of all people. In fact, I have to be. I will not be prejudiced, or no, I have show favor to those to whom I disagree with, or those who disagree with my Bible or my word, or even those who deny me my constitutional rights. I will still be their mayor. And I thank God for the opportunity to say that. And I want to be able to convince the world that I will not be a prejudicial, if you will, mayor. I will not be one who takes sides. I will not ever deny anybody their constitutional rights under any circumstance, knowing how painfully my rights have been denied for so many years. But Joseph McFadden, Joey McFadden, I asked him to speak. I asked him to do this. And he said yes. That's very courageous. I also asked him to be a member of the church. He turned that down, but but who knows what will happen in the future. I'm thankful for the people that the Lord brings into my life. And it is quite an honor. The other thing, I have to be honest with this, because the Lord knows what's in my heart, and I don't want to try to pull the wool over your eyes. I have to tell y'all the truth. And here it is about Joey McFadden speaking today. He's a writer and a prolific one, a very good one. He has an extraordinary future in writing, especially since AI is becoming so prevalent in terms of our understanding of the world, our understanding of communications. Communications will be perhaps the most prominent, even more prominent and powerful than politicians in the very short years to come. And he's a communicator. But I have to tell you this very selfishly. I figure I can talk to y'all and y'all won't try to make me look bad. I invited him because I pray one day he'll write something about me. So I don't know whether he's going to do that or not. I'm certainly praying that he will. Would y'all please stand and receive Joseph McFadden to our altar today. God bless you, sir.
Well, thank you. Is this close enough? Is this good? Is this good right here? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's good. Well, thank you so much for those kind words. I really appreciated it. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak here at ATLAH. It reflects the kindness I have consistently been shown since I began visiting your church earlier this year. When I began coming here, I made it clear why. I'm an openly bisexual man who wants to bridge a seemingly impossible divide with a church known for very conservative rhetoric about LGBT issues. I felt inspired to seek out a church like this because of the work of a man named Daryl Davis, a black man who has befriended hundreds of Ku Klux Klan members. However, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that those folks would not be exactly as enthusiastic as I am to visit this black church. In researching ATLAH, I read of one of the church's most notorious signs: Jesus would stone homos. And yet, I somehow had faith that if I came here, I would be treated with kindness. Just as Daryl Davis so often overcame initial signs of hostility with people he thought hated him, but whose hearts melted in the face of the kindness and love he showed them. President Lincoln's attitude toward those he initially disliked embodies the spirit of my presence here. He said, quote, "I don't like that man. I must get to know him better," end quote. I hold a different worldview than you do with regard to homosexuality, and I respectfully disagree with your signs, your beliefs, your stances. And the greatness of America is the fact that I can come here and share that different perspective. Not to shame or guilt you, oh no, no. Not to shut you down or force you to change, because I fundamentally respect your right to free speech and freedom of religion. But to listen to your perspective in a framework of cordiality, just as you now listen to mine. And I can do this because of our fabulous Constitution and its magnificent First Amendment, which protects our right to express any opinion. Our present culture suffers from a social illness or malady that free speech alone cannot fix. Too few people who hold different perspectives share those perspectives with each other. We are at a historical period that social scientists say is low in bridging social capital, meaning that groups of people who would not normally engage with each other are aggressively self-segregating. And this harms the civic social fabric. The social fabric that keeps our culture healthy also connects our families, people we can rely on during difficult times. One of those people is my uncle. He and his husband, my stepmother's brother, were married at Niagara Falls in 2003 during the Northeast blackout. Their wedding was discussed on NPR because the falls had an independent generator, making the lights the only significant source of brightness for hundreds of miles, except for the countless stars that were visible, usually dimmed by the nearby lights of Buffalo and Toronto. When I was 4, my stepmother, Rosie, and her family were brought into my life when my parents divorced. And when I was 5, my mother committed suicide. Rosie was there to help my father and I pick up the pieces after she died. And she was also my guardian angel. But she was also human and susceptible to human frailties. Death for Rosie chose Alzheimer's disease. My father, who engaged in a daily struggle to overcome his own mental health challenges, to be a good husband and parent, now had to care for the woman who helped him keep it together and raise me after the death of his ex-wife, and so he retired early. As the days, weeks, and years grew grimmer, and Rosie required more intensive monitoring and care, as not only her memory slipped away, but also her capacity to function independently, our family had to consider moving her into memory care. My father was constantly exhausted, but we knew an old age home would be like a prison for Rosie. And when she was eventually moved into memory care, it was a personal hell for her, and she died within months. We tried to keep her at home for as long as possible. When the strain of caring for her became too difficult for my father to manage alone, I was asked to step in and take a great deal of responsibility. At this time, I was enrolled in a specialized high school. The friends and teachers there were a supportive community that made the tragedy that unfolded during my adolescence less painful The school also came with an intensive workload, making it challenging for me to help my father care for her. And transferring to a different school was discussed. That is when my uncle stepped in. He gave his time, energy, love, and devotion to provide my father with the support he needed to keep Rosie at home for as long as possible. He helped me keep the supportive community that made every day more bearable during years of grieving. If he could not be with his husband, and thus not part of our family, our lives would have been much worse. When we love someone, we see past the labels to who they really are, their struggles, their kindness, and their humanity. That's what's happening here. You welcomed me with uncertainty that became hugs and warm greetings. What I thought was a monolith became real people with complex lives and hearts. Through the love Christ calls agape, the love I offer you and feel from you, I hope you might see that same complexity in the LGBT community that I now see in you. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. That was beautiful speech. Beautiful. One more time for this great speech we just heard. Can I get you to say, Joey, we love you? Can I get y'all to say that? Okay, 1, 2, 3. And we're looking to bridge the gap. Is that right? Praise Almighty God. What a beautiful speech. Thank you so very much, Brother McFadden. And thank you all for being so cordial and listening to what he's had to say. This is a great day for us. You may take your seats. All right. I want to say a word as well. I had also duplexed this day with the possibility of some of our neighbors who have opinions about our announcement board and about the vision of this church and ministry, that they would attend. I don't think they made it. We'll try again and again until we can convince them to come and hear what we have to say. But Joey, I pray that you will allow us to, since what you just said has gone out across our live stream platforms, both Facebook, X, and YouTube, and Rumble, I pray that you'll let us to continue to use your speech to bridge the gaps between people and their thoughts and their ideas and their rights that the Constitution affords all of us. Hey, Mondami, what's my name? What's my name? What's my name?
James Manning.
When you go into that voting booth on the 4th of November, here in the New York City mayoral election, and when you go in there, whose name you going to print in the write-in section? Whose name you going to print in the write-in section on the ballot, Mondami? Who you going to print? Whose name?
James Manning.
Hey, Mondami, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Whose name you going to print on the write-in section on the ballot on November 4th here in the New York City mayoral election?
James Manning.
All right now, let's get it on.